We had no timepiece, the cockcrow and the sun, all we had.
So,
Yes.
I want you to be honest with me. Tell me, how many guys have you slept with?
Only you. The rest did not let me sleep.
There you go. You ask me no stupid questions, and I'll tell you no lies. What that lady did there was respond to a stupid question with a blunt truth. Nigerians like sweeping things under the rug. They don't like telling the truth. Our heroes passed in a rotten country were the ones who laid the foundation for the rot we're dealing with today. And I know people are sick of me bringing this thing up about Abiola. Abiola was a crook. I wrote a book in 1999, and my description of Abiola in that book was that Abiola traveled a 100-mile journey, of which 95 miles stunk like hell. It was stinky, and the final 5 miles was nothing but whitewash to decorate the garbage of the past 95 miles. He slept with the enemy and he died with the enemy. That's what happens when you sleep with the enemy. Did Abiola win the election in 1993? Hell yes. He destroyed the field. He won the election hands down, no question about it. But that's not the bane of the discussion. The bane of the discussion is, was Abiola corrupt? Abiola was corrupt like hell. He was not the only one. But you don't like me saying it because I'm an Igbo man. He's a Yoruba man. Why should an Igbo man talk about a Yoruba man? There are Igbos that are dirty as ass. A lot of them that are dirty. And in this episode, I'll talk about the latest of the dirt, Soludo and Hope Uzodinma. But I could dig into the past and dig up some rotten Igbo people, cabal-pocketed Igbos. Should I not talk about them because I'm an Igbo man? Nonsense. Hello everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LNTV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you depending on where you are around the world.
Was MKO Abiola a criminal? Every piece of information out there was all good about Abiola when I was growing up. Those were good things back then. Nobody knew that he was actually distributing his own share of his own share of the largesse of them destroying Nigeria. MKO Abiola. So, but the difference was that MKO Abiola was such a cheerful giver that it's going to be so hard for you to hate him. But what were the stories we were not told about MKO Abiola? His contribution to the destruction of Nigeria, the hero of democracy, and you know that one we were not told. You would have to read about that. And there were so many people that have found out, but they are like, all those things are inconsequential, Jare. Leave that one. Let's talk about the good things. What now makes MKO Abiola a criminal? They are established using this same influence to cover up some of what was called the International Drug Investigation. That one was the one that actually got many guys crazy. Are you saying that MKO Abiola is a drug dealer? There is an evidence towards that. But it wasn't specifically mentioned. That is, it wasn't specifically mentioned as MKO Abiola like Tinubu is mentioned, right? In his own heroin deal. There were pointers, so the investigation was pointing at too. I could have brought some of them here, okay? But yeah, if that interview sort of riled you, the ideal thing is probably it is time for you to go and read more about some of those people they told you were heroes in Nigeria or are heroes past. You know, get hero way past. Go take a look at them and you realize that those they call heroes to you, they are villains, part and parcel of what you are suffering today. You know, it could be very hard for you to take in. Then to spoil his name, Baba, nobody needs to spoil the name of the criminals in charge of Nigeria. Now they try to deodorate the stench. There are some of you who are going to, in 20 years time, in 30 years time, there are those who are going to tell our children that Tinubu is a hero. All this heroin trafficking, forfeiting money, they were just statements to tarnish his image. They are going to name a monument after him. They are going to name maybe, they'll do things to make him hero. And that's a kleptomaniac druggie. There are those who are already fighting. Don't call him a drug dealer. Stop calling him a druggie.
Yes,
what should I call him?
What should we call Bola Ahmed Tinubu? President or drug dealer? Which one did he earn? Did he earn his presidency, or did he earn his place in Chicago's drug streets? What should we call MKO Abiola? A crook who was part of the architects of destroying Nigeria, or the man who won the election in 1993? It's up to you. In Abiola's case, he's actually both. He cleanly won an election, but he voluntarily became one of Nigeria's biggest crooks, and he benefited from it, while our people suffered. But we choose to lie to ourselves, either because we benefited from him directly financially, or because he's from our tribe. How dare them talk about a Yoruba man? Absolute nonsense. Yoruba man, Igbo man, Fulani man, Edo man, a crook is a crook. MKO Abiola, like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are crooks. Soludo and Hope Uzodinma and Ojos Okalo and Rochas Okorocha are cabal-pocketed Igbos that work in the interest of their pocket at the betrayal of the Igbo cause. You can't change facts. Facts are facts. I don't give a damn if they are Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, Edo, Hausa. I don't give a rat's ass. The only way our country is going to change, and change for better, is that all of us start calling a spade a spade. The tribalism must stop. The garbage our parents sold us. Now I'm 67. I'm part of selling it to my children if I happen to be tribalistic. I'm not. But if I were a tribalistic person, I would have poisoned my children's minds. Like many of our parents poisoned generations' minds. And educated people become fools when they defend their tribes against the atrocities that their tribes commit in a country. Nonsense. Now let's go to the cabal-pocketed man from Anambra State. And when you finish hearing his garbage, I'll tell you about that garbage. And then I'll go to Hope Uzodinma. And then I'll go to Ojos Okalo. The shame of Igbo land.
I will do only one term. Anybody, any politician who said that must be sent to a psychiatric home.
I will do only one term. Any politician who said that should be sent to a psychiatric home. Bushman, Mr. PhD, Okoro Madekwe.
Because the person must have some mental problem. When the Constitution allows you to stay up to 8 years, they come and tell us, I'm going to spend one term. Tell us where it has ever happened. Who? Anybody who is saying I'm going to do one term needs a psychiatric examination. Because you are taking everybody else to be fooling, to be a fool.
That's your PhD. You're taking everybody to be fooling, to be a fool. This guy has no clue. For a man who grew up in a village in Igbo land, the wisdom and common sense and tact and diplomacy that comes from a well-rounded kid from a village eluded this. I don't even know what to call him. I've never seen a man so jealous and so insecure in his upbringing that he seems to have an envy, a hatred of anybody who he thinks may have looked down on his parents. Nobody should look down on anybody. But if we all walk around victimizing and antagonizing everybody who looked down on us, our parents or our siblings and stuff, the world would not fit all of us because there'll be fights going on. You grew up, you mature, and you try to understand why things happened. There's nothing wrong with growing up poor. There's something wrong with growing up poor, going on to achieve at a magnificent level and holding on to the anger you had bottled in as a poor kid who sat around and looked at the rich kids run around, and you're now trying to rub it to the rich kids who didn't quite succeed as you did. Your children are coming. You never know where your own children will end up. Soludo needs to sit back and bask in the glory of his academic achievement, because every story that's been told about him growing up is that he was an exceptional student. His PhD in the field he attained that PhD is testimony to his academic prowess. But who academic prowess help? Now academic prowess will go chop. When you're sitting in a state antagonizing people you should be working with. Peter Obi was at the right place at the right time. He came out in 2022. The obedience embraced him. You didn't come out. They didn't embrace you. Deal with it. You may be more educated than Peter Obi, but Peter Obi has more common sense than you do. You may be governor of Anambra, but Anambra people remember more of what Peter Obi did for Anambra State than what you're doing as governor, kissing Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ass. Even when you know that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's programs and policies do not benefit your people. If you work with Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the standpoint of fighting for Igbos, you're not being tribalistic. You were elected to fight for Anambra people who are Igbos. If I work in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration and I'm fighting for Igbos, then I'm being tribalistic. He didn't hire me to fight for Igbos. He hired me to work for him. If I take the job from him, I should work for him and support his policies, whether I like them or not. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not hire Soludo. Anambra people voted for Soludo, and Anambra people were excited to see Soludo become governor of Anambra State. But Soludo has become a disgrace, not only to Anambra State, but a disgrace to academic achievement and the idea of being independent in your conviction to do the right thing. Soludo has no conviction to do the right thing. Soludo has a conviction to enrich himself, put money in his pocket, and get reelected at any cost, even if that cost is costing the people who elected him to serve them. It is a disgrace. And then Hope Uzodinma. And this time I'm talking to all the Igbos around the world. all of a sudden we talk about hope Uzodinma in private and in whispers, when we should be amplifying his corruption and his name all around the world as the man who did not win an election, and the Fulani cabal picked him to go oppress his people in Igbo state. Picked him to embarrass Igbo people and say, you are not going to vote for who you want. We're going to feed you who we want to go in there and work for us at your own detriment. That's what Hope Uzodinma is. Then he came back for re-election and rigged the election worse than Tinubu rigged the national election. And Igbos just sit back and say nothing. And all the big wigs in Imo State sit back and say nothing. And a good number of the big wigs in Imo State stand on his mandate so they can get contracts from him, or so he could protect them from their own corruption. Something is wrong with Nigeria and something has to give. And the only thing that has to give is that the youth, the obedience, the progressives must fight in 2027, fire for fire, to make sure Tinubu and his crooks, Soludo, Hope Uzodinma, and all those people don't succeed in rigging another election cycle to give us another 4 years of atrocities across the country. And a few weeks ago, I saw a video with Uzodinma telling Nigerians that many politicians are crooks who embezzled money to become wealthy, and that he, Uzodinma, is the clean one who always had a business before he went into politics, and he's the clean politician. Isn't that a joke? Uzodinma telling, bold face, telling Nigerians that he is the clean one, but other politicians are crooks. Isn't that a pot calling a kettle black? It's the same Uzodinma. In light of what the whole world can see Governor Oti doing in Abia State and working magnificently to transform a state that has been the bottom of southeastern Nigerian politics since 1999. When Uzodinma was governor for 8 years and couldn't do it, his successor, who he handpicked, was governor for another 8 years and couldn't do it, and another one they handpicked for 24 years. They destroyed Abia State. And all of a sudden, Governor Oti is fixing Abia State. And Uzodinma is not ashamed to be walking around and holding press conferences and talking about how they are going to make sure that Governor Oti does not win re-election in Abia State. And you tell me these idiots are not cabal pocketed? And you tell me these idiots are not working for Tinubu and the Fulani cabal at the detriment of Igbos? Folks, whether it's Abiola or Bola Ahmed Tinubu or Soludo or Uzodinma or Uzodinma or Rochas and all those cabal-pocketed big-time Igbo billionaires, I'm not going to mention names. This episode is to tell you that you may be basking in glory today with all the money you've stolen and all the things you've cost Nigerians to benefit yourself. But Judgment Day will come. And on Judgment Day, I am sad to say, many of you will rot in hell. You're sleeping with the enemy. You're going to die with the enemy. And that death is going to be very disgraceful. And I have this to say to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I say in comparison to what's going on in Abiola's empire today. All that success that Abiola had, all that money that he had, except for patronage that people give to his children here and there. How is the Abiola empire going on in terms of progression within the family? Are they not fighting themselves? Are they not tearing themselves apart? The same awaits Bola Ahmed Tinubu's family when Bola Ahmed Tinubu dies. We haven't seen much discussion and collaboration between his wife and his son, except public personas that they put up. When Bola Ahmed Tinubu dies, we're going to see the war between Sheyi and Miss Iyaloja and Mrs. Remi Tinubu. It's coming. If God gives us life, we're going to live to tell the story that's going to result from the story I'm telling you today. And the Tinubu family is going to be like the Abacha family. How is the Abacha family faring? I'm not saying they don't have money. They may have a ton of money. But who knows them in Nigeria? Who gives a rat's ass about the Abacha family? The Tinubu family will walk around in shame in Nigeria when Tinubu moves on with his army that protects them. And progressive Yorubas are going to come back and reclaim everything Bola Ahmed Tinubu stole from them with his army of thugs. Because neither Sheyi, nor Remi, nor Iyaloja will be able to raise the level of thugs that the king of thugs himself has surrounded himself and them with while he's alive. I don't wish Remi Tinubu and Sheyi Tinubu and Iyaloja and the rest of the Tinubu children and grandchildren, I don't wish them bad. I'm simply talking from the position of historical perspective. We've seen what happened to people like Bola Ahmed Tinubu and their families in the past. Take a look at the Shah of Iran. Take a look at President Marcos of the Philippines. Take a look at a whole lot of people who thought it was all about them when they lived and didn't care about the people. Take a look at what has happened to their families. Igbos say that na toala omalo omalo, atoalo feke, or fellow bayana ofia. And Yorùbá say that orabo, non sọ fún ọmọlúwàbí, tó bá dínú rẹ̀, adio dindi. Both proverbs translate to saying that a word is enough for the wise. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Allen TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
We are thrilled to share some exciting news with you. We've been working tirelessly behind the scenes to make a positive impact in our community. Our commitment to serving others hasn't wavered, and we are proud to showcase one of our latest projects. We are embarking on a new initiative to construct a borehole for treasure-based academy in Abia. state, and the community. This project aims to provide a reliable source of clean water for the students, enhancing their health, hygiene, and overall learning experience. Education and access to basic necessities are fundamental rights, and we are dedicated to supporting initiatives that promote these values. This borehole project is just one of many endeavors we've undertaken to make a difference. Our foundation is passionate about empowering communities and fostering growth. We are grateful for the opportunity. More updates on our project and look forward to sharing. If you'd like to stay updated on our work, we invite you to follow us on our social media handles, Facebook and Instagram, at Munacha Charity Support Foundation. You can also reach out to us via these platforms, or through email if you have any questions, or would like to learn more about our initiatives. The students expressed their heartfelt gratitude to our founder and everyone who has supported this project. We are grateful for their kind words and appreciation. In the same vein, we'd like to extend our gratitude to all our supporters and partners who have been instrumental in our journey. Your contributions, financial and otherwise.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home, we had no sophistication. We had no timepiece, the cockcrow and the sun, all we had. Rise early at sunup, we'd go to the farms, drive the monkeys away from the maize farms, and the birds away from the rice farms. Come back home at sundown, sometimes a little later. Women get busy on pounded yam, and we all eat together. Lagos,